Ravin David Ratnam.
Is a David a fake thing?
No, it's my second
It's
name.
just a
It's my actual second name.
second name. Okay, so it's Ravin David Ratnam, right?
That's my proper full name.
Right.
yeah.
My one of my former band leaders, which is an interesting story. We'll definitely get into that. So let's start off with who you are, Ravin. What do you do? What are you?
What am I? Philosophical.
Philosophy, exactly.
Deep
Let's
questions. You want the deep answer or the
No. We'll go
general
deep
base?
later. Just give me the normal answer.
Yeah. By profession, I would say I'm a musician.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I do. And what am I? Then there's a lot more to it. But do you want me to?
Let's go back to the beginning, because now you're living. In my opinion, you're doing your own thing and you're, having a ball with it. But it wasn't the case, right? In the beginning, maybe back before when you and I met.
Yeah.
When you were in school, what was the doctor, lawyer, engineer plan?
No such thing, man.
Okay, so you didn't have any
Right.
pressure from home and.
No, I
so-
come from a musical background, so
okay, interesting.
everyone kind of got.
Okay, right. So at what point were you thinking to yourself, I want to be a musician?
From
the
like
time you
pretty
popped
much
out?
get-go, I think. Yeah, from the time I could. I always wanted to be a guitarist and a drummer.
Okay.
So like from small days, like I used to see drummers, because I used to go to church
Right.
a lot. So in church, most of the churches that I went to had drummers and like a band and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I get very taken up by the
Right.
drums.
So this was throughout your studies as well.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people who quit at their O levels or?
So O levels, I didn't have much of an option there because I kind of didn't like one subject which I was supposed to do.
Is this Sri Lankan O levels or?
It's Sri Lanka.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean Sri Lankan meaning international
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, not London O levels.
London only.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay. That's
Okay, so you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you.
That was one subject. I mean, it's not a bad subject, but it's just that I didn't have much of a
Interest
interest in
towards?
it. Yeah, it was literature. I kind of regret it because I think it would help with lyrics and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking like, is it physics? Is it chemistry? So must be some.
No, I was a
and it's
commerce-
literature like all the musicians need.
I was a commerce person, but the literature
Right.
subject wasn't really appealing at that point because I used to get blackguarded by the teacher
Oh,
for
okay.
every single class.
Right.
So I kind of lost interest in that subject probably because of that. Yeah. So and I didn't want to do O levels that subject, so then
Right.
I had to leave school
Okay.
to do my O levels. So I did privately.
Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So did you when you were doing your levels, were you like, I need to like get a degree in something? What was or were you just following the system?
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't really have much of an option at that point. School, you have to do your studies. That's the whole norm, and that's good.
Right.
I would encourage everyone
Yeah,
to
politically, you need
do
to get
your
it right.
studies. Learn your math. Maths is the most important thing, I would say. But
Right.
yeah, but so I decided from that point to go where I wanted to go. That was music. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's it like growing up with musician parents? Like, have you seen the difference between other families, or have you just always?
At that point, I did see differences. Like my mom and dad, both musicians. My dad was working for some time, like after he got married or just before he got married or something like that. He was doing a job and one of those normal 9-to-5 jobs,
Right.
and then he was there for I think till the age of like when I was still 13 or 14.
Okay.
But he couldn't take it either because like
Right.
music was something that he also was very like passionate about.
Right.
So he stopped, and so I pretty much noticed my family, their whole liking towards music and that whole like the way how we react and like how we kind of communicate on certain things, and like my parents are not very kind of like you have to become a doctor kind of thing, because they knew the same kind of I had the same passion
Right.
towards it the way they had, so they understood that forcing me to do something that I wouldn't like would just make it longer for me to come to, because I would come to the realization that I like what I do in music. So but I used to see the differences between like other families, like my cousins' parents, and like I would see the slight differences and stuff. But I mean, I like that as well. There's nothing wrong with it. So I kind of took all
being politically correct.
No, I always took the good of like from both sides. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I also get like a bit annoyed, like my parents should have like pushed me more on my studies, but then it's like, not that they didn't push me in my study, but they just like kind of like, they knew music was like in me like so much, because like from the age of like 5, I think I was just like drumming on like anything I could find. Any like function, like family function, I'm like with a small chair and I'm beating the crap out of it, like enjoy myself there. So so
it was in your blood anyway.
They knew like I was.
What was your parents' opinion about the music industry at that time?
They were scared, like because back then I think music had this whole title, sex, drugs and money. I think that money is a part of it. No, probably not.
No,
sex, drugs and something else. Sex, drug and something else, I can't remember. But
in Sri Lanka, it's everything except the money part.
No, I wouldn't say that. But
I mean, which is not true, obviously. You're living it.
Yeah, but there was probably a time, like I don't know, and like you see all these like rock musicians. It's always about like them, like you get this like glam rock that era. So and the 70s, I think 70s, 80s, that music. So my parents always had this kind of fear that I would like go into that and start drinking and becoming like getting in drugs and that kind of stuff. So legit fears, but like I never kind of had interest towards those also. So yeah, so they started realizing that I was like very full on into music per se, not because I wanted to get like girls and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so what happened after your O-levels? Like, what were your options back then?
My options were pretty much like I was zoned in.
Zoned into
zoned into music. Like I mean, I actually didn't really like going to school. I like my friends at school and stuff. I enjoyed the company there and stuff. But I was also kind of a very like, the moment I started getting into music, initially I was like this extremely extroverted guy. And but the moment I got into music, I felt like I found my new comfort zone, kind of comfort space, or like something that really like made me what do you call it? It made me reflect on life a lot. Like music helped me reflect. So like there was a lot of things that I used to think about, like because of that probably. More I got into music and the more this thing. So
there was a time when you took a break from music, right? When your guitar and your squires were lying underneath your bed for a number of years. I remember you telling that to me, and I was like, back then I was like a kid as well. I keep telling this to everybody, I'm a spoiled child. My parents, still I live with my parents. I'm not complaining about that. Even back then I was even more spoiled kid, so I was like thinking, why would you just put your guitar underneath and just stuff? Because I wanted to be a professional musician. That's all I wanted to do. I quit engineering for it. My parents were worried, just like you. I went for counseling to see if I'm right in my head because I quit engineering. So I have the typical thing. So before you did take that break, what was the music like? Because there was TNL before that as well, right? What was that, or like how did you start the band, Fuzz Mechanics, right?
So for me, like music started like my whole interest in wanting to make music, compose music and all that stuff started like from probably like 8 when I had this keyboard and all stuff. So like when I was getting into music,
so you play the keyboard as well?
Not like pro, but I can understand what to do, kind of thing. So anyways,
it's making me really mad.
No, I had to like that was the only instrument I had at that point. So like I had to get my whatever musical, I used to play drums on the keyboard mainly. That was my main thing. And then I had to like figure out what to do. So when I got into music, mainly through church. So my interest for music and like being in that scene. So then I started. Then we formed a band called Mute. That was the first ever pro kind of band that
Okay.
was like not pro, but like I don't know, it was pretty good.
What
Actually.
kind of music were you playing?
Metal.
Okay.
So, it's
Where did the love for metal come from?
hard rock and metal. So metal pretty much came from like the musicians I was hanging out in church as well.
Okay.
So like the drummer that I was playing with, he was fully into like heavy hardcore stuff.
Oh, okay.
My brother had like influence as well. My neighbor, who's an amazing guitarist, my neighbor as well.
Right.
But my neighbor's cousin, who used to come from UK, used to bring like all this like heavy, crazy metal stuff, and which I had never heard of. And I'm like the
Right.
moment I heard those stuff, when I heard even Pantera or like Testament or whatever those bands,
Yeah.
I mean, there were much more heavier bands which I can't remember, At the Gates and
Right,
different
right,
types
right.
of stuff. So, Opeth was like one of the bands when I heard,
Right.
and I was like, because I was a church boy as well, so like I was like pretty freaked out by the music.
Right.
Yeah, so that kind of like
Oh, so you were freaked out in a good way initially, or in a
freaked out in both ways, because I was amazed at the musicality, like the skill level, but then also like freaked out because there's so much of like the flat fifth, the devil's chord kind of thing going on in all the songs, and I'm like, and the growling and all that stuff. So it kind of like initially it freaked me out. Like I remember hearing. So anyways, I'm going out of off topic.
No, this
I
is,
always
this
do
is
this, man.
brilliant.
So anyways, through all that, I figured like what music I like. Not just metal, but I had this whole hard rock and alternative, and then Mute happened. Mute kind of went for about 2 years. We had like issues with members leaving abroad and stuff. So then I was left without any of them except for my brother, who was kind of like here and there in the music scene.
Sorry to interrupt you, just making sure I get there. So they left abroad because they studies.
Yeah, like studies, work.
So how old?
They
was the gang?
were all much older than me.
Okay.
I was the youngest, so when I started like playing for Mute, it was like I was 13.
Okay.
So and yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that.
How old were they?
My brother was probably 18. Yeah, 18.
Right. Okay.
And so most of the guys were like in that age, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Those. So I was a small podian.
Yeah. Okay. So you were playing guitars with them?
I was playing bass. So that was my first instrument to kind of like in the metal scene. Or
Okay.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and I liked guitar, but bass was the only thing that I was
allowed to play.
Allowed to.
The underrated.
Always wanted to be a drummer, but never got to. So anyways, so that was how it began.
Okay.
So Fuzz Mechanics came about where once all of them left, my brother was more like between work and he was busy and stuff, so he couldn't really pursue that.
Right.
So for me, Fuzz was more like I had a bunch of friends, close friends.
Okay.
My neighbor, another guy who I met through in church, but kind of like in a weird way. But and then the other guy also from church, from the worship team. He used to play congos.
Right.
Anyways, like one of the guy who was playing congos used to like I used to be a good friend of his, so he used to come and like I used to teach him guitar stuff, like small riffs and stuff. He was into Creed a lot.
Okay.
We were both into Creed a lot, so we were learning Creed riffs like crazy. And this guy was talented. He just picked up like he was like amazing at one. I was like, okay, brilliant. I have a musician now to play with.
Okay.
And then my neighbor, he was also interested because his cousin also was into music, so and like hanging out with me. Then he also started getting into playing guitar. Then the drummer of Fuzz Mechanics, he used to come for a guitar class as well, blah blah blah. Then but then he decided he wants to learn drums because he saw this jazz drummer and he was like, I want to take up drums and all that stuff. And then anyways, like he managed to buy a drum kit and all that. I was like, we're gonna start a band. And like all of these guys.
How old were you at this point? Like
I must have been this was in 2005 when we started, so 15 years back.
so okay, fine.
18 I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we simply like I mean I had this like what do you call this
So this, hold on, let me stop you for this. So from 13 till you were 18, you went like music properly, like you were playing for bands and stuff, and you were also doing your O-levels and all of that studies.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a controversial time. Yeah.
So how many days a week did you have to practice while you were doing your O-levels?
So
This is including your own practice.
yeah. So my parents, my mom was very chilled out. She didn't try to kind of control me in that
Okay.
way. My dad was a bit afraid because he kind of saw me getting like very
Right.
like listening to metal music and
Yeah.
at that age and stuff. So there were like with mute and stuff, like there were times where I would sneak out of the house to go for concerts to play
Right.
for without permission,
Wow.
that kind of thing. So, so he saw the rebellious side of what was happening at that point, and so he was concerned, but for good reason. And then with so like the O-levels and stuff, like my focus was not in studies at
Okay.
all
But
anyways.
still you managed to pass everything except for literature. Because of the teacher
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Okay, that
yeah,
plays a big
yeah,
role.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not because you didn't like the subject, because the
Yeah.
teacher just ruined it for you.
You could say
Impressive.
that. I did 7 subjects for O-levels.
Oh, okay.
The funny thing is like because everyone wanted to do computer, but by the time I decided I want to do computer, everyone had like all the seats were taken. So
Oh, okay.
like there were like 5 of us who went to the computer class, and so it was like, you can come. It's like full
So I'm
up.
pretty sure you took literature because of your passion
You
for,
had
you
to
know, why did you take it in the first place? Like, because I'm pretty sure you
literature
made the
wa-
connection
So it was
somewhere.
like either history, literature, or computer.
Okay.
And I want to do literature, and I wasn't too sure about the other 2 subjects. It's literature and history, or I mean, 2 of those 3 subjects. you have to
Right.
do.
Okay.
So I want to do computer, and then I wasn't sure what the other subject was,
Right.
but then history was interesting, always.
Okay.
So I chose history, and then because I couldn't get into computer, I had to go for the other option,
Right.
which
Okay.
is
So yeah, all of us done. Mute is also down to fuzz. Like you got these guys together.
yeah.
Fuzz Mechanics.
Fuzz, yeah.
That's a pretty interesting name. And I
Yeah.
know like creating the name for the band is one of the hardest
It was.
things. How did you guys manage to like put that? Because I think that's one of the names that for me, I knew Fuzz Mechanics even before I met you.
Okay.
I had no idea who you were.
Okay.
And Sam obviously introduced me to
Yeah.
you guys, but I knew what Fuzz Mechanics was because of the name.
Cool.
Like when did that come? Like who orchestrated that?
Me.
Is it
Yeah,
because of the
like
literature you miss?
it's a literature I miss for sure. It's actually a very interesting story because like we didn't have a band name. Like we were now trying to enter into on stage.
Right.
So 2005 we started, play a few gigs, and then like 2006 we have to do this, go for on stage.
Yeah.
But we were not going for like competition sake. I
Okay.
just wanted them to get the experience of like playing in front of a big
Right,
crowd. Not
right.
that I had experience either,
Right.
but like I just wanted for us to have that
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
kind of thing, and see how it goes. I didn't have any high hopes as such
Right.
because we were also kind of like all of us were like beginning as well.
What
So,
were the other bands that you were up against at that time?
Magic Box Mix Up.
Okay, that's another name I freaking know.
yeah.
I don't think I never met the guy.
I mean,
Savindra?
no, Sean.
Okay, I never met.
Yeah.
Never met the guys. That's another name I didn't see. And nowadays names suck. But yeah, sorry, keep going. So,
Yeah.
So it was Magic.
Magic Box Mix Up. Then there was a band called Land of No Return.
Okay, was Soul Skinner? a
Soul
big
Skinner,
part?
no, they were before. They were before
Okay.
us.
Right.
They were older.
On stage, you guys enter for on stage.
Yeah, so we gave our submission, the demo or whatever.
Was it CD back then?
Yeah, CD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we did this recording in the hall.
Okay.
That was
Oh,
so-
I remember hearing this. This was in the church hall, right?
No, that's a bit later.
Oh, okay.
That's during rage time. So this was like at our house. We just set up the drums, and
Okay.
I don't know whether I recorded the drums and all that stuff for that because I wasn't sure whether our drummer he was not ready with some of the stuff. So at that point, so anyways, we I think he played for one song. So anyways, we did Chop Suey as one of the recordings, but not the full version. We just did like a part, and I did some really stupid, silly things we did. Anyways, we got selected, and then we were
So you
on
were
our
singing as well. You were
yeah, I
always
was
the
singing.
main
Yeah.
vocalist.
Mute I wasn't. I was the harmony bassist slash harmonies.
Yeah.
My brother was the singer. Then Fuzz I became the singer. So anyways, we were on our way to TNL that day to give the demo, and we didn't have a name.
Okay.
We were going as Fire Garden,
Oh god.
and that came from Steve I. Okay.
Right. Thank God something. Something inspired you at that point.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we didn't really have a name. Fire Garden was like, okay, can't think of anything. Let's just go with this. And we all like Steve, I also every single one of us, we were like big fans. So decided okay. But on our way, I was like not really happy with it.
Right.
So and I think we were like going. We took a bus. We were going all in a bus and.
Okay.
On our way, I think I saw a board which said mechanics or something like that. And Steve I has a song which has something to do with Peach Fuzz.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's a funny song. It's like not a song, it's like a weird whatever. And so saw that, I was like, Fuzz Mechanics. And we're like, oh, Fuzz Mechanics. And like, guys, what do you think of this name? And everyone's like, oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Nice.
So like, oh, let's do this. And
wow, that's like a nick of time.
yeah, I just think of time. And then we had a band name, we wrote it down and gave it. So. And we got selected, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you guys ended up winning that year?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like winning TNL on stage? Because I know what it feels like to get second place.
Yeah.
I don't know what it feels like to get...
Yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah, at that point it was kind of a shock too. We didn't expect to win. We were I'm this like perfectionist, like you have to play the parts. If you miss this, like I get really stressed out kind of thing. And I was like, no, we are not gonna win this and all that stuff.
What was the song? Do you remember the songs you played for the last finals?
Yeah, we played Set Me Free.
Wait, Set Me Free is an original?
Yeah, Set Me Free was original. We were the only band that had an original at that point.
Oh, okay.
So I think we got a lot of points for original.
Right. Yeah, interesting.
Having an original and then we did play that funky music. We were in this stage where we were trying to figure out what kind of music we want to do because we are like everywhere. We played that, then we played Breaking Benjamin, then we played like tried to do Audio Slave, then we went into Metallica. So like we tried to cover like every single thing that we kind of liked and could do, or thought we could do at that point.
So you were a vocalist and always lead guitarist, right? Yeah. Okay. So what happened to Fuzz Mechanics after that?
Then we kind of got some fame after we won, and then we started getting all these like gigs, whatever, like interact gigs. And
were any of these like paid gigs back then? Because you all see, they're playing rock music, right?
So like, because just as you get into the music scene, everyone is like, we want to get you to play good exposure.
And it's also rock music, right?
And we are also like kids, so like we are okay with anything, like as long as we get to play in front of people.
Exposure was paying for a lot of things back then.
Yeah, at that point.
It's paying for all the Milos that I had to buy during the gigs.
We get free Red Bull. Oh, brilliant, man! We are coming.
Okay. Oh god. Okay. So you guys are playing gigs. How many years were you guys playing pro, like as in for gigs and stuff?
So we played till 2009 with Fuzz.
Okay.
I think we got more serious when we joined rock. Not joined per se. I don't know when we joined. I can't even remember whether it was officially joining. But I remember auditioning for Rock Company, like in front of Suresh and all of them. And these guys are like for me, like my whole.
I mean, the reason that I also got into metal music is because of stigma and all of that.
So we had to audition in front of them and join this whole rock company movement scene, and so after that only we started getting more heavier and all that stuff. So
right,
I don't know, I'm just going off topic again.
No, I mean this is perfect.
This topic anyways gets me like thinking a lot. Like
I always wanted answers to these questions.
This might be like a 2-hour interview.
Brilliant. I mean, this is part 1, part 2. more content on my video. So, because obviously I was intrigued about these things back then, but I was freaking scared because Fuzz Mechanics, Ravin is teaching me how to play guitar. Like, what the fuck is going on? Because when I met you, you had picked. You had gone through the phase that I don't want to play music anymore, whatever. I don't know what the phase was. I was pretty intrigued about that as well. Yeah. So, what made you just stop playing music? Because I came to the point and I've given up completely. Now it's just bedroom music for me. I don't play for any band. My electric guitar has never been taken out. It's been in the case. I just play my acoustic every day here and there. It's a sad story. I'm depressed about it. I know. But then again, my passions transferred to other things, right? So like for you just found, why did you lose that? Or
Kind of, I don't know whether.
because I think I know the answer, but
Yeah, I never lost a passion for music as such, but I think got a bit frustrated with the scene, you could say, like because it's hard to find a set of guys. Music, I mean, even in the States or wherever, so difficult to find guys who will stay with you for throughout, and then also there's all the issues. And I was also becoming just getting into the scene, and like being a leader of a band is stressful itself.
Yeah.
And then having to handle whatever issues and trying to get everyone motivated, keep everyone.
And also like you're motivating people without any pay.
Yeah.
So that's another challenge.
That
in
is
itself.
a huge challenge as such. So, and everyone was also in that whole kind of like, we need, like, parents are also pushing them them to like go to the higher studies and that kind of thing. So there's that whole thing like, oh dude, do you seriously want to go to higher studies? Don't you like music? Kind of like that, like kind of you're still teenager trying to like figure things out. And so like they were also like had these like back and forth kind of conversations and like, so like friendships are like because the like joining, like having a band is like, it becomes more than like just friends.
Yeah.
Because you become like a family as such, because you tend to see all the bad sides, the good sides, and you have to deal with it, put up with it, and like, so it kind of like takes a toll on you after a while. And like, I mean, if everyone's not on the same page and doesn't like see eye to eye on certain things, it gets ugly. So me being a perfectionist, and at that point especially, being like, I have to, like, you all have to be like this, sound like this, let's get, if you're not like, if you make a mistake here, let's take that again till we get it right, kind of thing. So it's not easy. Probably wasn't easy working with me at that point, especially at that point.
Okay, that's the one thing that I wanna, because me trying to be a musician, there was a lot of social pressures, that were coming on. Okay, you know what? When are you going to make $1,000? Or, when are you going to try make your own money to buy something? When are you going to pay for your own instruments or whatever? Or at what point are you going to not have to go to your mom and dad to get money for strings and all of that stuff? Okay. Was that, did that ever set into you? Like, into your head when you were like pursuing this whole, because you started first mechanics thinking that was plan A, right? That was plan
there
B.
was no plan
Or was
B
it a hobby? But your band was the band, right?
That was the band, yeah. Okay. For me, it was like everything literally, because I had plans not just to kind of like for the fun of it, but I want to take it international, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And those are the dreams, right, of a musician. So like you want to be known and play on the biggest stages and that kind of thing. So like when after playing few gigs and like started realizing, okay man, like we need money now. Like how are we gonna afford? So like we used to actually speak to event organizers when they say play for exposure and stuff. We were like, so we even had like rock company discussions, like we have to at least ask for money so that they can cover our costs,
right?
At least for the gig, so we know like practice time, practice studio, whatever, like cost, those kind of things. And so like those kind of discussions kind of helped us kind of get an idea of, okay, maybe we should quote something. So I think we started off like with 5,000 per person or something like that, which is like nothing. But like it kind of helped us at least cover whatever the transport costs, and maybe buy like a submarine from Dynamo, that kind of thing. And
so you're probably still catching up for years of expenses right at that point, right? So it's probably
we didn't have much expenses at that point. Also, like I mean, our parents were kind of like still helping us. There,
home and company was sponsoring everything.
So, but then it after like we came, like when I came to my 20s, like most of the guys had like left. Then it was starting. So then it kind of like dawned on me, yes, I need to start earning money.
What did you turn to then?
I always like kind of music in a very general way. Like I like a lot of kinds, lots of types of music. And so I kind of saw the commercial side of it, where I thought, okay, I can make money off that and balance the band that I'm passionate about, and take that, and so that because I'm in music now.
Right.
I tried doing some 9 to 5 jobs kind of thing, didn't go because like yeah, one talk I had with one of the people was like, so you'll have to quit your music scene now, and I was like, huh? I was like, next week I'm like not at office, I'm like, sorry boss, I don't think I want to continue the job. So so it was that was the only option I could see at that point, so that helped me a lot. Because like, and it was kind of like once I started getting the hang of it, it was easy money, because like gigs started coming in, and like when you get like for whatever functions, events and stuff like that, so you get paid pretty decently as well.
Right.
So at that point, for me to get paid that much was like, wow. Like I'm enjoying this, I'm like, yeah, so it was really cool. So that kind of like helped me whatever, but had the kind of the pros and cons on that also there is.
Okay. So fine, that whole development start, okay, then you start back, and then you find what made you start again?
Back, you know, like, okay, you know what, because when I met you, you were still were trying to start. So at that point again, I think there's a really long period of my time where I was just like very focused on trying to get either fast mechanics. When fast mechanics kind of stopped in 2009, at that point, like during that point, I was a bit like going down the whatever this thing, and kind of fed up of trying to make something out of this. So I was not sure what to do, but like still had the passion to kind of keep it going. So 2010 was like, I have to do something with this. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to start the same band, like same music that I do, but with a different name. Also because I wanted to now be more heavier than what Fast Mechanics was. Fast Mechanics was known for like a lot of kinds of music. So I was like, okay, I want to like be more heavy kind of thing. So then that's how Rage came. And what was the question?
When I met you first,
something in
like with Sam, I remember the day you were playing drums and you asked me to play guitar and Sam was singing. Yeah. And then we played for a gig together, right? At that point, I think that was about a year before you started the whole band back again, right?
Rage,
I think you were...
So 2010 was when I started Rage. So I think maybe Sam, because I met Sam around that time, no? 2009.
Okay, so it must have been in the same...
2009 through Sandhani, through my wife.
Right.
I don't know why I did that. So Sam was her friend through Onstage and all that. So I think he must have seen me through In On The Green, or was it?
No. So Sam had to play a gig, and I think he wanted you guys to play in it or something like that. Or we randomly came to your house one day and we jammed. That's how I met you. I remember the day I met you. You were playing the drums on the blue drum kit. And I was playing guitar, and then Sam was singing, and then we played a gig, right? Did you play in that? You did.
I might have.
Yeah, you did. You did. So we all met for that one gig. I can't remember where. Yeah.
This was that gig.
Yeah. So that's when Sam, you, me, Sandhani, we all met.
Yeah.
As in, I met you. And then, so you had started Rage when you had this idea of... do you remember the conversation that we started? Because I was just like you. I was like, okay, I wanted to have my own band. Yeah. Engine down crappy band, but still my band. So I really want to work something out there. And then I was also, passionate about music, and I was, trying to give up my entire life for music, and I quit engineering and all of that. But I still wanted to stay with... Obviously, my clique, Lasit and that band. For some reason, I felt very obligated towards Lasit. I think because he's the one who, he started making money for the band. Right? I don't know how. We never had to pay for strings. We never had. He was, doing stuff on his end with the whole Cult Studios and organizing gigs and all. So because of that, I felt okay, that was my calling. So I was not 100%. I remember you being quite frustrated about me. Why am I going and playing for Angel Down? And all of that jazz.
Very unfair of me.
No,
think about it.
No, I mean, because to be honest, like when I met you and when you just because I've never ever got into a path where my playing was very regimented and process. It was not process driven. You find a song, you try and figure out how you like it, and when I met you, you had a very technical way of looking at it. Like, what's the like how to practice for it and all of that. So
Yeah.
because of that, like after I quit Rage, it was like, you know, like quitting some like really high-end band, like everybody's coming to play for me. I was also going, why? Because I play for Ravin and Rage and all of that jazz. So there was something to that. So I mean,
Yeah.
so I definitely missed like a huge situation there as well. But we knew what to do. Bygones.
Yeah.
But you were into even the recording music. You were heavily into the science of that, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I started listening to you playing music, and then I freaking bought your sound thing, and I started recording.
Yeah.
So you got in, you opened up a studio, right?
Yeah.
After that,
Yeah.
after the whole Rage. Okay, there was a lot of shit that happened there. Rage
Yeah,
played,
yeah.
we played a gig together.
Yeah.
There was other musicians that came and played. Obviously, the same old scenario. Nobody can commit to a band. You get even more frustrated, so you went quiet, and then you started up Paragon Studio.
Yeah.
How the hell did, like, out of nowhere that came, and then you suddenly had this really studio going up? How did you prepare for that? Like, do you remember like the logistics behind?
Yeah, so studio, I would have never dreamt of having a studio at that point, because like at that point I was just like not sure whether should I go full on music. I didn't really enjoy the commercial music side as well.
Okay.
I just did it mainly for the money.
Yeah.
But that was the only avenue that was there for me to earn money
Right,
from, and
right.
like something that was close to what I really like doing. So thought, okay, whatever. So played with few bands,
Yeah.
saved up whatever money that I could.
So then you played commercial for how many years? Do you remember?
Yeah, I started playing. Initially I started with my mom and dad.
Okay.
So we had a band. We used to play at like this Cinnamon Lakeside before it was
Right.
Transasia. So,
Right. Okay.
so 2007 we played there. So we were playing twice a week or something like that. Then we get small weddings, and I mean weddings we get, and I think we used to play at Water's Edge also on Sundays and that kind of thing. So like that, whatever that I was earning there was saving up.
Okay.
So I was like, when I made my first 100,000, I was like, whoa, I have 100,000 bucks, and like this was like when I was like I think 20 or something like that. So I was
Right.
like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
So
okay.
so I was good at saving, but then during this time, what was happening? Then 2009 I joined one like kind of famous commercial band.
Right. This is even before Rage. Like you were still.
Yeah, just before
saving
Rage
up
started. All this time like I was trying now, because like I think 2007 when I started playing with my mom and dad, like I had some kind of money flowing
Okay,
in, so
right.
like trying to balance that was
right.
kind of not too bad.
Okay.
So 2009 when I joined another band, they were more like all younger guys and that kind of thing, so we started getting a lot of work.
Right.
Can mention them is Rebels.
Yes.
Yeah, so that
Yes,
was my
yes.
first like proper
Yeah, I knew
managed.
you, Ravin,
Yeah.
Rebels guitarist.
Yes.
And then I came and met you Fuzz Mechanic. I was like, wow, Fuzz Mechanic. I mean, I'm like fanboying here. But yeah, bro, Sam spoke to me and told me, okay, this guy from Rebels. I didn't know who Rebels was, okay? I didn't know the commercial music scene. I only knew the metal scenes. Okay. I remember now, you were introduced to me as the guitarist from Rebel.
Yeah.
I couldn't give two who said that. I was like, who is the Ravin guy? Okay, anyways. You played with Rebel for how many years?
So I played with them for 1 year.
Okay.
And then I decided like have to move on from that.
Because it was still somebody else's band, right?
Yeah, it was actually we all started together,
Okay.
that band. So 2009 was the inception of that band, and we had few like differences of whatever this thing,
Right, okay.
work ethics and
Right,
whatever
yeah,
issues.
the usual.
And I was like, okay, I need to leave. Kind of very immature back then, didn't know how to leave bands. I was like, okay, I'm going.
Right. I mean, yeah, you have
I'm
to
done
do-
with this kind of thing. But but they were amazing band to play with and stuff. But 2010, then I still wanted to find like a very pro kind of band, because like all this time I was playing with like guys who were just getting into the music scene. So like I kind of had this, like there was always this kind of a little bit of unprofessionalism in everything that was happening, and I had to be like, I'm the hardcore,
exactly.
you have to play this, you have to be on time for practice, why aren't you on time
The
for practice,
eccentric at
that kind of
time.
thing, at that
Yeah,
point, right?
yeah.
And then I was searching for this like band that was like that. So then I thought, okay, I got called to this a more senior kind of band.
Okay.
They also were just starting at that point. So they also decided to start. One of the vocalists from Wildfire, guy named Damien.
Okay.
Vikramathilaka.
Right. Yeah.
Vikramathilaka,
I
right?
don't know if it's Vikramathilaka, but I know the
I'm sorry, Damien. Yeah. So,
Wildfire well known, so
yeah, so-
credit to that.
yeah, so his band, I joined that, and then that was during that. So like all this time, like I was like joining that also. I played for 1 year, and I was like, I couldn't continue, and it's mainly because like the type of music that we did, and I was not passionate on those lines. So I was like, I can't. And like sometimes like 4 months now, I'm like, I think I need to leave. But they're like, no, you can't leave. We have taken so many gigs. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, sure. So anyways, like I played for the entire year or whatever, and then I left. Then 2010, I was like, man, I need to figure out what to do. At that point, I was like motivated to also do solo.
Right.
But I felt like that would give me more freedom to do the metal scene.
Yeah.
So then I started doing solo music. Took few years. That I think that's when like with Sam introduced me to a few what's his In on the Green, and
Right.
like he used to play there. Then I went there, managed to get a gig there, and then slowly started working through there. And
So and then you started
obviously-
saving money. So you're working up to Paragon Studios.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So pretty much saved up, and then I got this like huge break in 2013. 2013, yeah. In my solo acoustic scene, and got this really good contract. So I managed to save up a lot of money at that point.
Okay. So how long were you in that? Was it a contract basis or just?
Yeah, it was a contract.
I mean, besides the point, how long were you playing?
Yeah, so I played for about 9 months.
Okay.
And with whatever that I saved up from that, I had pretty much enough to start my studio. So I always had this desire, like this whole dream of starting my recording studio, and like I had in my house itself, I had envisioned this area in the house. This is going to be a studio someday, kind of thing. So so at that point, like it so happened in such a way that we kind of like made the house in such a way, and my parents are like really cool with it as well.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, brilliant. Initially I got one room,
Right.
and then I expanded to the outside section as well.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, so like I bought little by little some of the parts, and I was still learning as well. Was doing a small recording course as well, and kind of figured out, okay, I need this, that, and then I started buying small things.
Right.
Initially, inside that room where I think you came and we did something like, I think Angel Dawn came and did a
We
recording.
recorded a song that we never released. Or
Released
ever
or
finished.
something, yeah?
Yeah, we just recorded the guitars. That's it.
That's I think what I used.
Yeah,
your-
exactly. No, I think you. Oh no, this is the one
This
you
one,
used.
yeah.
This is the one
that I
Yeah,
had.
exactly.
So that was my first sound card. So I started with
How many years is this?
2013, man. So 7 years.
So I mean, this has been in.
No, 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. Yeah.
Maybe okay. We're talking about my sound card, by the way, guys. That I have managed to steal off of. Actually,
No,
we
you
were
bought
selling it at the right price also for me,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
could
yeah.
come and
Yes.
snatch it off. And I was also learning to record because of, like, so Ravin is doing it, everybody can do it. And then I started doing it. I was like, fuck, this is more than what you saw on. So yeah, so did you? I mean, no disrespect, Biscuit Kudu, but how many Biscuit Kudu songs did you have to record? Or
I
did you
didn't
not
actually
take
do
any?
it. I didn't do it. I was literally kind of like only for rock music band, that kind of thing, or like any Western bands. Not that I didn't like single bands or anything, but I didn't have the what do you call understanding on the music scene, how that needs to be produced and that kind of thing. So metal was my kind of that's what I wanted to do. So.
Okay, so. Well, how was business like when you had a studio?
Studio was it's pretty interesting. It was kind of completely new to me at that point. My first ever album recording, which I got, was like one of the biggest ever recordings that I would have ever imagined taking on. And that was Stigmata, and I was I think very underprepared for it, but not underprepared, but I
Which album was this?
This is the Ascetic Paradox, the Ascetic
Oh,
Paradox.
okay. how long were you recording before you took on Stigma? No, this is not on record. Huh?
Yeah.
Back on record.
I think Stigmata, I started recording in 2014.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, 2014. Yeah, I think,
Right.
or 2015.
In what way, I mean, assuming that we're keeping the underprepared part in what way were you underprepared to like take on like a proper rock band of that? Because they were making pretty intense music.
Yeah, very intense.
Yeah.
So my only recording like experience at that point was like I was pretty much experimenting and learning things.
Right.
So I was learning by trial and error, trying to figure out things.
Yeah.
I had ideas that I was like, okay, I need to put that, try to figure it out, see how that works, kind of thing. So I used to pretty much do my own recordings. I used to go and record the drums, make my own covers.
Okay.
So there are like stuff on YouTube that you will find. So like those were kind of for me to learn how to do this. So I would listen to how the bass or the drums is recorded. I'm like, I need to try to replicate that. So how does that work?
Right.
So I pretty much trial and error. So I did that, and I was like getting the hang of it, and people were starting to come in and like, say good things about it. So I was like, okay, maybe I should open this up for bands as well, kind of thing. So I was doing a lot of like artists recordings for them. So I was always recording by myself.
Okay.
So I had the ability of, okay, like this is how I want it to sound, so I had to play it in such a way, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. And I had more control over it when I was recording like that. So when it came to bands, it's a completely new thing, because now you're working with people who play in different ways, have different ways of tuning the kit, all this kind of complications. And different preferences. They want the guitar plugged in such a way, or they want this kind of amp.
At this point, you were doing all acoustic drums as well, right?
Yeah.
Because you also had programmed drums.
I just had programmed drums for my album. I was trying to.
Because you can play the.
I couldn't play my songs. So.
Okay.
But my whole thing was to record actual drums. I actually want to do even Rage album that way.
Right.
So anyways, my whole passion was always to record like the acoustic drums and get a really good sound out of it, and to have the whole band recording kind of thing. So so getting a band like Stigmata to start off this whole scene was like me like jumping off like a cliff and hoping that I can land without killing myself.
Right, jumping off without a parachute.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they were intense, and I think that album was like one of their most intense. I think their music tends to get more and more intense, but this was like technical to its core. And
was this when Pitikala was playing?
No, Tarak was back.
Okay.
I think he was back, or was he there still or something? So so like that was kind of crazy, because I had like lots of plans. I was like, I need to track the guitars like this, and I had this all worked out, but I think I overthought things and overdid things in that sense. And then with the kind of lack of time that we had, they had like a deadline, and there were also like with some of the members, they had like work issues and like getting free time to come and record. So there was like delays on those things. So like for me, it was like all there was too much to handle at that point. So I kind of like didn't know how to like really this thing, but managed to. I literally didn't sleep for like 2-3 nights before the last day of giving, and this was all like me just learning how these things work. And so I learned a lot from that experience, because like, man, that was a good experience for me to learn like how not to do things. And because it was literally 7 days I had to mix and master, and so I just like crammed every single hour that I had to doing this, and so my ears were literally.
There's a biological aspect to it, because your ears are.
My ears are gone. Like I don't know whether I was hearing anything rightly, but I mean, I did whatever that I could. It was a really fun experience, stressful as it could be, but like it was good. I mean, and at the end of it, I was still happy, and I think the band was also happy with the product. I wasn't as happy as I could be. I wish I could have had more time and like taken some time off and try to figure things
yeah.
out kind of thing and come back to it.
Eventually, you started selling off your gear,
No,
right?
okay.
This was years after, I think.
Yeah,
After the
this-
Stigmata thing came, and you were still. Were you still playing commercial music or no? Or was it you?
Yeah,
engrossed-
I was kind of not commercial per se. It's more like a niche commercial at this point. When from 2013, I started playing for this band called A7iii, which is more like a blues, jazz, funk, that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's completely out of the ordinary for me as well.
Right.
I always liked that kind of music, but like, so got to play with one of my like biggest inspirations to music as well at that point, a drummer named Aruna Sirivardhana. Yeah, so he started this band with all these young guys.
Ah, the 80s. Yes, now I remember.
I was
Okay, okay.
included in, and
Yeah.
so that was like amazing.
This is with the Umara.
Yeah, Umaria was
Umar, okay.
at that point.
Right.
She was initially the one of the two female vocalists.
Right.
And so playing with that, and like all these things were happening. So during the time I had the studio also, trying to balance all that. Work was a bit intense because like most of the recordings I used to get in the night because most of the guys were working and that kind of thing. So so balancing work and music was a bit difficult at that point as well. So like because I had gigs, and then so like when they want to come on certain days, they can't, and I'm like, and whenever I'm free, they are not free, and so it kind of like obviously there was that issue. And so or whatever the bands that I was playing with. So it got a bit complicated at that point, and then I was thinking also about all the equipment that I had, and didn't have much time to also like really record, because like I don't know whether everyone feels this way, but like to record music you need to kind of be in the zone as well.
Right.
I think even when it comes to performing as well, but like especially when you're recording, you have to like really kind of be relaxed, eased up kind of thing. So I was kind of like everywhere at that point, because I was playing with quite a few bands. I was playing with some like there's another band as well with A7iii. We had another band, and then I was doing freelance as well, so there's a lot of work coming in. Then solo gigs were also there, so it was kind of like difficult to balance. So little by little I decided it's best to sell it off the stuff. And also I had plans of getting married at that point. This was in 2017 where I decided, okay, maybe I need to get rid of my stuff, and because I can't have my wife coming and staying inside the studio, so needed a place also. So so I pretty much sold most of the stuff. I kept whatever that I needed, and I decided also to kind of keep it small, and I thought, okay, I just need to record. I'm going to focus more on guitar playing and try to focus on whatever the band that I'm playing with, and get that side going again properly. I think that.
Okay, as a musician in Sri Lanka, where is the money at?
In probably the Sinhala music scene.
Okay. If you're into English music, and if let's say you're into rock music, like the only thing that intrigued me while playing guitar is playing metal music. Like getting obsessed about these techniques and how people do all these things. It wasn't like a whole blanket of music like it was for you, right? So what would anybody at that point, what would you tell them to do if they want to continue to be a musician in Sri Lanka playing commercial music,
English music?
Because you don't play for weddings or anything like that as a solo career.
So as a solo, I do play for weddings, but more for like these like destination weddings, and those kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because my music repertoire goes
Exactly.
with that
That's
kind
why I was thinking. Okay, you can't just play for like a massive crowd of like maybe like a typical where everybody was baila and all of that.
Yeah, that kind of. So I play mainly for like cocktails and like the cocktail part of the wedding, and before the reception, there's a band always for the reception. So
Right,
I do for those kind of things. So I play for even Sri Lankan weddings and stuff that, but mainly like down south,
Right, okay.
like those type of weddings.
In the beginning, even though music was, even when I played for Rage or even Angel Down or whatever, that was still the hobby, right? I didn't treat it as a job. I didn't treat it as something that, okay, this is something that I'm going to be doing, because I always had that voice in the back of my head, whether be, I mean, I can blame whoever I want to blame, but at the end of the day, I listened to these voices and just didn't pursue that, right? I mean, yeah, like that opened up, like the reason I have this job is because I was guitarist, and you know, the videos came because I played music. Yeah, I can attribute to all that, but there are people who do, like you, who, yes, you tasted other things, but you know that this is what you want to do, and you're pretty, I would say you're pretty well off in the whole situation. What would you say to that?
For music.
The guy who's just doing his A-levels and started playing guitar and thinking about, okay, you know what? So the guy who's quitting engineering to be a musician.
So I don't know. It depends on where you're coming from, where the person is coming from. So if he's not passionate about engineering at all, then I don't think you should be even trying for that just because your family wants you to do. But when it comes to, I mean, if you have the ability to do that, and if you can, but if your passion is more towards music and you want to do commercial and you want to go full on in that side, then you have to be very also business minded and also kind of take it seriously. You're not doing this like just to get a kick out of things, because now I think music scene has come up to a place where there is competition, there is people who are really working at pushing themselves and getting work. So you have to be at a certain level as well.
Right.
So there is a certain level of professionalism in your, not just in your ability of playing, but also your how you show yourself to like on whatever, like people you meet with and like the clients you deal with and stuff like that. So like your way of working, your ethics, all that has to be there. Because if you're not serious about what you're doing and you're just doing this like you think it's going to be fun all the way, it's not going to be fun always.
Because it's just business at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's So if you want to make it in life in that sense, you have to take it seriously. You can't just be like,
I mean, you played
I'm
with
doing
a lot
this
of,
for
right. I mean, you played with a lot of musicians, and you know how to identify whether, you know, some people have it, other people, because there must be some kind of radar where you say, okay, you know what, this guy is just playing around, or then you see some people, okay, you know what, these people might be.
Yeah.
Is there a way for people to identify it for themselves, or it's just they have to fall in the ditch and then realize?
So there are some people that I could say they do it simply for the money.
Okay.
So you can see that I don't know whether they're stuck and they're now that's all they do. So you can see there's not much progress in their abilities. They don't really push for anything. They are just whatever that comes, they'll take. They'll do that. Then you get the type of musician who is extremely passionate and constantly pushing himself, wanting to get better. What do you call? You get inspired by seeing that person play, that kind of thing. Then you get the guys who are passionate and who are probably don't have the guidance to get to the place where they want to be.
Right.
Some people who it's like obviously talent and some who have to work hard towards getting there. Some who have the talent who don't work hard and they kind of get somewhere, but then they also get like just get stunted at a certain place. There are people who are talented and who work hard and like go beyond whatever you can this thing. So there's a lot of like this thing. So it all depends on your mindset, how you see it and how you take it from there. Like, and I mean, I don't think there's anything that's like impossible in that sense. If you have a passion and if you have a knack for it, I think you can always go for it. You can, but there's a lot of sacrifices to be made. So like being in the music scene is not easy, but also it's rewarding as well, because a lot of guys like that I meet who are into more like whatever, like the work that they do, they're like, dude, you're living your dream at least, like you're enjoying what you do. Because like when I play for gigs, like sometimes I don't feel like taking breaks even, because I'm like so in it, and it's like I'm like excited to do a new song, or like if I remember a song, man, I've not done this, like I'm like I want to try a different version of it, kind of thing. So it's always like rewarding that sense. And when you have people who really like your music, you feel something. At least sometimes even if it's 2 people who are listening to you at this event and they clap and they come and say, "Man, we love that what you did," or whatever. Kind of it's rewarding in that sense, and you're still earning well out of what you do as well. So but so to a musician who is trying to get into it, he has to go with the right mindset and take it really seriously, and you have to weigh the pros and cons and see whether you actually have it, whether you can make it. I mean, if you have another, like if you're good at something else as well, then might as well also, and that gives you better kind of opportunity or more security in whatever, then I would say do that, and while try to see if you can balance it out and do your music as well. So I mean, music, if you have it in your blood, it will never go away from you as long as you keep stirring that up in you, kind of thing. So
Interesting, dudes. I think I feel like we have to have a part 2 because there's so many things that I definitely want to touch on, maybe because we've gone on for quite some time. So yeah, I mean, thanks a lot for making the time and coming down.
No worries.
And having this conversation. It's something that I wanted to have for a long time. Since March, actually since February. But I think I messaged you a couple of times to do it remotely, but I didn't think you were quite...
we were, I think, trying to get it done like late in the night.
Yeah, exactly. So but I'm glad this happened, and then we'll definitely do another version of it soon if time permits. So any closing words? Okay, good.
Spoken more than